Welcome to Pemberley Farm. Well, in our canning series, we are now going to can chicken. And this is just not any chicken that we went to the store and bought. This is chicken we raised here on the farm. They are Cornish crosses, and we raise some every year. And usually they go into the freezer for a while and we use out of the freezer. And then when it gets to be this time of year, then we decide to go ahead and can what's left in the freezer before we start a new round. All right, so what we're doing now, there's different ways to can chicken, but this time we'll do another video on another way. But this time what I've done is we par cooked the chicken enough to get it off the bone. And so that's what all of these bags are, is we did this last night, and so it's not cooked done. It's just cooked enough to be able to get it off the bone. As you know, it looks done sitting here like this, but I would not eat a piece of this chicken because I know it's not done. So that's what we've got, and we're going to put it in our jars, and then we're going to put hot water over it, and then we're going to put it in our pressure canner in our quart jars, and it will process at 11 pounds of pressure, because I'm below 10,000, I'm below 1,000 feet, and we will pressure can it for 90 minutes because it's quarts. Okay, so all I'm doing is just stuffing it down in the jar, just these chunks. And this is chicken breast. This is not the thighs and the leg quarters. We generally get those cooked quicker than we do the thighs. There's some of us who prefer the dark meat over the white meat. So that's what we're doing. And when I've got as much chicken in here as I want, what I'm going to do, I've got hot water over in a tea kettle. I'm going to cover it with the hot water, and then I will put the lid on it and the ring, and I will put it in the canner. Now the canner's not going to have hot water in it because this is not going to be hot. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do about the same temperature of water in here as is going to be in the canner. So because I don't want thermal shock on the jars, because it's cold today. It's pretty cold today. All right, we are putting the hot liquid in the jars with the chicken. Now, if I was raw packing this, I would not put liquid in the jars. But because these are par cooked, they're not going to create a whole lot more juice. And so I am debubbling now, because you don't want a lot of air bubbles in your jar. That would create problems for you. So that's what I'm doing now. And see, the water level has gone down since I started doing that, so that the water is getting down into the further down into the jar. Some of these may be a little too high. May have to take a little bit of the chicken out because you want at least an inch head space. And so that's what I'm doing. This may be in the way, so you can't see as well. But that's what I'm doing. There's a good bit of spaces in there because some of the chicken I put in there was pretty big. And so, and see, this liquid has gone down too because I'm allowing it to get on down into the jar. So when I'm finished debubbling everything, then I will wipe the jars really good, the rims of the jars, and then I will put the lids and rings on finger tight, and we will put them in the canner. Okay, so we've got them all in the jars. We've wiped our jars down, our rims. We've got our lids and rings on. And so I'm about to put them in the canner. But I want to address something that I know you're going to have a question about. You're going to say, why didn't you use the broth that was created when you par cooked the chicken? Well, we're going to can the broth separately, and that'll be another video. But for today, we are canning this chicken, and just the way it is with the hot water. So it will be fine. I've done this before and it's fine. So that's what we're doing, and the broth, we'll can the broth at another time.
So a question people might have, would you use that as broth or would you dump it down the sink?
I would use it as broth. It won't be as strong as the broth that it par-cooked in, but I would use it as broth. Now, you probably would have to help it out a little bit. Use some of the better broth. A lot of people even use like the chicken granules or the little cubes of bouillon and stuff like that. Even if they have fairly strong chicken broth, they want the flavor to be stronger. So you could do it either way. But this is what we're doing. We need to get this stuff out of the freezer, and we wanted the broth separate, so this is the way we chose to do it. Your mileage may vary. You do it any way you want to do it. But this is how we chose to do this today. All right, we're putting in our canner. This is an All-American. I love All-American canners. I get nothing for telling you that. I just love All-American canners. I canned in an old Miro canner for years, and the All-Americans changed my life. I have two of them. I have one that I can double stack quarts, so it's like yay high, and we didn't have enough to do that really today. We had a little bit of chicken left over, but we'll finish cooking that and use it in something. Now, your canner, there should be water in the bottom of your canner. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on. It got a little too hot earlier. So I'm going to turn it back on. And this, this is not water bathing. The water is not going to cover the tops of your lids. And so your canner will tell you, the instruction book in your canner will tell you how much water to put in your canner. I'm not going to tell you that. Different canners are different. So whatever brand your canner is that's different than this, you need to read your book and put the amount of water in that your canner tells you. All right, so if you have an All-American, this needs to line up. Whoops. Back just a little bit. There. That needs to line up so that when you put these toggles on, that well, that one had got, there we go. And what I do is I do them opposites at the same time. Now you don't have to crank them down like it's gonna fly off of here, because it's not. I know that there are people who are scared to pressure can because they just know their kitchen's gonna explode, but it won't, I promise. Okay? And then this one. Okay? All right. And like I say, you know, it may look like I'm just really cranking it down, but I have very little strength in my hands. So, this is what we've got. We've got our canner locked down, and the heat is on, and what's going to happen is it's going to heat up, and after a point there will be steam coming out of here, and we will, once it is full steam, we will let it do that for 10 minutes. That gets all the air out of the canner. So we're going to let it steam for 10 minutes, then we will put our weight on, and because of our elevation I will put it at 10 pounds of pressure. And there's two ways you can do this. You can watch the gauge, which should go to 11 pounds, or you can listen for the jiggle of the weight. And so again, read the book that comes with your canner. That's the safest thing for you to do. Read the book that comes with your canner, because different brands of canners are just different. Okay, we've got steam coming out, and we're going to let it do for about 10 minutes, and then we will put the weight on it. Hope you can see that. Alrighty, we're almost done. Been right at 90 minutes. Okay, we have turned off the canner. The gauge is coming down, and it will take an hour or so for it to come down to 0. So what we're going to do is just leave it alone. We're not going to touch any of it, just leave it alone. And then when it comes down to 0 pressure, we will open it up let the lid sit just off of it a little bit for a few minutes to give it time to adjust. Then we'll take it out, put it on the counter just like we do everything else, and let it sit for 24 hours. All right, our chicken is finished. And now what we're going to do is just take it out and put it over here. Sorry, I'm doing this by myself tonight. It got dark on us and Ashley and the girls had to leave, so I'm doing this by myself. But anyway, I'll finish taking the rest of them out. I thank you for watching our video on canning par-cooked chicken. And just be sure to share our videos, like, and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Have a great day, and God bless you from Pemberley Farm.